All right. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this video. This is my stewardship ethic video. It's late. I apologize. I've had a crazy, crazy week, but no excuse. So the question is, what does it mean to steward the staff? What does it mean to steward the volunteers? Uh, I've never been asked this question in such a way using the word steward. So that was new for me. But basically, I believe this is a question that's asking how do I manage and lead staff, and how do I manage and lead volunteers? Uh, for me, the answer is not simple, but it's I don't see there being a difference. Again, my understanding is that if you are a part of a church and you are actually doing ministry, then you are actually working. And then what's your own personal understanding of what it means to have a job? And so, if you are a volunteer, that's your job. If you are being paid, that's your job. And how do you work your job? And I think that for myself, coming out of a military law enforcement background, I apply that to this is your job and that you should do it and do it well, regardless if you're being paid or not. And I think that helps to create really good boundaries within staff people and also volunteers to be like, yep, no, I'm not going to do that, or yes, I will. And when I do it, I'm going to do it at 110%. I'm going to bring the best I possibly can into this thing. So I personally don't steward or lead or manage volunteers any differently than I do staff. This is my 10 years of being a church planter. But now that I'm the associate pastor of an established church, I've taken that same work ethic with me that we have some staff folks that are our staff, and we have volunteers that are volunteers. And so I don't treat them any differently because there's this task that needs to get done, and it needs to be done well. And so I don't treat anyone differently. But when I was a church planter, if I thought there was a training situation or a workshop that I thought someone who was a staff person would be able to go to and learn, I would always send someone who was a volunteer, right? Because number one, if it's good for a staff person, why wouldn't it be good for a volunteer also, especially doing the kind of work that takes place? And I don't know what it is with me personally, with worship directors, but I learned a very valuable lesson dealing with a different worship director in the band, right? And so basically, I had to fire the worship director because the whole entire band pretty much refused to play with this person. They just said, we're not going to play with this guy because this guy is pretty much an a-hole in his approach to doing ministry. And so, again, it taught me this valuable kind of understanding of what does it mean to deal with a staff person and what does it mean to deal with volunteers. And what I learned was that I should have listened to the volunteers who were putting just as much time into the practices and the worship. I mean, if he was there, they were there. The only difference was that he was leading it, and he had a particular skill set. But that didn't really matter to to the drummer, the piano person, the backup vocalist. They were like, we can't work with this guy. And you have a choice. You can have one person be up there doing the thing, or you can have this whole entire team. But it was at that point, and this was right after I'd gotten out of the military, and it was the very first job that I had working with a staff. And yeah, I just learned a valuable lesson as it relates to making sure that I take care of staff and take care of volunteers. And so my overall answer as it relates to the question is I don't treat anyone differently. We assess the job, what needs to get done, and then if we need to hire someone, we will, and if not, it'll be volunteer. which has gotten me into some kind of trouble because people are always like, we have this job and who do we pay to get it done? And my first thing is, well, maybe we don't need to have it paid. Maybe there's someone out there who loves to do this that would do it for free. And it isn't me trying to save pennies and I'm going to try to save money. It's just the idea that it's work for the kingdom of God, and maybe someone will find it fulfilling to do so for free. So that's my answer. Take care. Peace.